You know, I think all women who have careers when they're ready to have their children worry about how will they balance and manage the difference between trying to balance your career and your family. And of course, for me, that was also a great challenge. When I started to look for care for my children after my first child was born, I was appalled at what I found out in the marketplace, the options that are available. I tried everything that I could think of. I tried in-home care, I tried child care, I tried churches, I tried taking my children to neighbors. Every option just wasn't acceptable. And it was really one of the most frustrating experiences I've ever had in my life. The thought that I would leave my child somewhere where I didn't know whether they were safe, if they were having a good time or not, and who was with them at any given time during the day. And so for me, I never left my children, not one day, where I didn't feel like I was absolutely leaving them in an environment where they were getting the best of the worst. And for a working mother, that's just not acceptable. Eventually, after my children both had grown up and were in elementary school, no longer babies, I had an opportunity to visit a Primrose school. And the minute I walked in the door, I saw the difference. I could feel it from the minute I drove up to the facility, and then walking in the door, it felt like home. It felt like a place where I would be comfortable leaving my child. And I hadn't even been in a classroom yet, but it was professional. It smelled good, it looked good. There was somebody there waiting for me at the desk who was smiling and reached out their hand and said, "Hello, how are you? Jo Kirchner. I'm so glad to have you here." And then from there it only got better, because the minute I walked into a classroom, the first classroom, I can remember the teacher's name, it was Susan Levy. And we walked into Susan Levy's class, and the room was just exploding with laughter and learning and fun, and the children were engaged and the teacher was engaged, and it was an atmosphere that any mother would have wanted for her child. And from that moment I knew that Primrose would have been where I would have put my children. Later I had the opportunity to, instead of work with the company as a marketing consultant, to join the company as a vice president. And when I joined the company, I believed with all my heart that there were mothers all over the country who wanted the same thing I had wanted as a working mother. And all these years later, here we are with almost 30,000 children, with those parents having the same experiences, wondering where they're going to leave their children. Only I know when I go to bed at night, every one of those parents go to bed with peace of mind, because their children are absolutely getting the very best.